I want to talk to you about false prophets and how prophecy really works. So folks, there's been controversy out there. People like Chris Reed or Sean Bowles, there's allegations that they've been using Facebook and social media to call details about people. And then they get up on stage and be like, is there someone here named this or that? And you live at this street and your uncle is so-and-so. And people are freaking out. And, I've been in some of these meetings where these people have done this and others. Now, first of all, I totally do believe in the gift of prophecy. God is omniscient. He's omnipotent. He knows everything about everyone. He knows the end from the beginning. He can reveal and does at times reveal details about people to people who don't know them and don't have any idea. And occasionally, very occasionally, that's happened to me just a few times. I've not stood up in a stadium. It's not normally my thing. But there have been times when I've just known something about somebody that I don't know them at all or barely know them, and something was revealed to me. So that does and can happen. But I want to share how prophecy normally or more normally tends to work in my experience, and that's in a relational context. Why God's a relational God. Now, of course, we are so overwhelmed by the show. We want to hear wow, some random guy up on a stage doesn't know me, and yet God knows me because he's telling me things about my childhood best friend and things that happened to me when I was 8 and all these things. And that is amazing. And Paul does talk about that. If the spirit of prophecy is in your midst, an unbeliever will come in and be in awe because they're going to be like, wow, God does know me. Maybe he is real. So again, I do believe in the gift, but that has a place. But I want to say that for most of us, especially if you are a believer, and even if you're doing evangelism or outreach or talking to a non-believer, God is a relational God. And so more commonly, what happens to me is I might talk to someone, get to know them a little bit, and in the midst of talking to them, God, I learn about them. God may breathe on a little something they say and say, this is also true, or this also happened, or tell them this about that thing they said. Maybe I ask, what do you want to do in life, or what's your goal? And they say I really always want to be a musician or something. Maybe God will say yeah, tell them that is their gift, or I want to bless that or something. It's often in a relational context. And I just want to say that's okay. That's good. That's actually still prophecy. And in some ways that fits more, I would say, with the character of God, because the goal of life is to know God and to have a relationship with him. I heard of this one guy, a friend of mine calls him the Starbucks prophet. He worked at a coffee shop and he would get these words of knowledge all the time about customers. And, he'd just go up and be like, hey, can I tell you something God told me about you? And, he would say, these different things, and they would be amazed. And sometimes they would be like, wow, this is nuts. He shared a story. I guess he went up to some girl and he's like, hey, I don't want to freak you out, but could I tell you 3 things that God wants to say about you? And she's like, sure. And he said, da, da, and da. And she's like, oh my gosh. And she ran out of there. Now, it's cool. It's a powerful gift, and God used it, but we don't know what happened next. Did she come to Christ? Did she just go home in her room and shake? We have no idea. And he doesn't either. Now, again, I'm not saying it's wrong. I believe God told him, those things, and it's okay to reveal it in that way. And he said it was from God. So I'm hoping God used it. But I am more personally comfortable with a context where I might have a relationship with that person. I can follow up with that person. I can help lead them to Christ or disciple them a little bit. And that's the kind of prophecy I want to foster in the church. I believe in that purely, supernatural, just wow, you just know somebody or something about them and you've never talked to them before. That totally does and can happen. But as we've seen, it can be grounds for abuse and manipulation. And as we've also seen, I think some Christians are so addicted to that gift, or they so highly esteem it, that they're not willing to do the relational work and the follow-up and the other stuff that goes into actually making disciples. So I don't want to esteem the gift more than the giver, and I don't want to esteem this gift more than the ability to relate to people and to prophesy over them in kind of that everyday sense, in that real world sense of oh, hey, that thing you've been dreaming about, or that hurt you have, God wants to heal it this way, or whatever it is. Prophecy can look a lot more normal. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. It can look a lot more normal than trying to be like Sean Bowles, Chris Reed, if they're even doing it real. I don't actually know, okay? But that's the point I want to make. It's good. God is a relational God, and he often reveals things in relationship. He does healing in the context of relationship. He even brings people to salvation in the context of relationship. And that's what we so often get wrong in the West. And I really want to bring this up drive this home and encourage you in that. You can start prophesying. You can start asking God to breathe on information, relationships, people that you know. And some of it will overflow to people you don't know. I mean, I've had moments or encounters in a grocery store or a gas station or a random event where, yes, God used me to speak a word to someone I didn't really know or whatever. And that is good. But I'm saying it's okay to start small. It's okay to start relationship. And there's safety in that because there's accountability. There's a follow-up loop.